This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
You are listening to the Dr. Sky Experience here on Talk Radio 77 WABC. As I like to say, and many others agree, WABC heard in 173 countries, all 50 states, beaming its powerful signal out into the universe, and you're with me, Dr. Sky. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get set for an amazing month, April 2026. And here, in our Dr. Sky update, things you can see, things that you want to take a look at in our nighttime skies, no matter whether you live in brightly lit cities or even in the deep dark of the country. We begin, of course, with Earth's nearest neighbor, the moon. How about that? Another full moon, which occurs on the 1st of April, to some April Fool's Day, this one known as the beautiful full pink moon. The moon itself will be full for Eastern Daylight Time just after 10 p.m., and 7 p.m. on the West Coast. What makes this moon so special? All the moons, the full moons of 2026 and other years, have great names. You can thank many of the Native American tribes, indigenous people, for some of these beautiful and sacred names. And around the world, the story also goes along with great names. But for here, the beautiful April pink moon will be, of course, coordinated around the time of the year that we call Passover and Easter. And just in case you haven't heard this, Easter on the calendar is determined as the following way as far as in astronomy. It is the Sunday after the first full moon, after the beginning of spring or the vernal equinox. And if you go back in the time machine, you find out that the spring equinox began on the 20th of March, thus this, the beautiful full April pink moon, that on the 1st, Wednesday the 1st, April 1, and then the next Sunday, naturally, April the 5th. And also add in there another of the sacred ceremonies for the season of Passover. After that, the moon continues to wane. Naturally, it goes around us, and you can see so many features with binoculars and telescopes, it's totally incredible. We can devote so much more time on that in future Dr. Sky updates. Last quarter moon occurs on April the 10th. Meaning that last quarter moon rises around local midnight and is high up into your sky just around the time of sunrise. And noted, many of these sunrise times, of course, are getting much earlier and sunset, naturally, much later. The moon then continues to wane. It reaches what I like to call the dark of the moon, or that is the new moon phase, occurring on the 17th. Just a note, if you're interested in finding faint objects in the sky like galaxies and star clusters, you know that the dark of the moon is a great advantage because moonlight will not interfere as long as your weather is good. Then the moon continues to wax. Look for it low in the west-northwest as early as the evening of April the 18th, and that thin crescent moon continues to wax, moving once again to first quarter on the 23rd. And by the way, a good opportunity if you're not an early morning riser, get out those telescopes and observe the moon right at the time of first quarter. Why? Because in my opinion and the opinion of others, it's one of the best times to see shadow relief along the darkened light line, that is, on the moon, the area we call the terminator. And at that time, there are great craters with many, many majestic mountains. Then after that, we continue to see the moon move on, continuing to wax. And how about that? It moves on to its next full phase on Friday, the 1st of May, when we get an interesting occurrence, 2 full moons in the month of May. One on Friday, the 1st of May, and then we move on to Sunday, the end of the month on the 31st of May. But how about planets? Here's some interesting notes. If you look high into the sky, that is, right after sunset in the west-northwest, you'll get to see the beautiful planet Venus. Now, Venus is about 150 million miles away from us right now. So as I mentioned many times before, if you could jump on a light beam, it would still take you 14 or 15 minutes at the speed of light. Would you imagine if you could just simply go down to your local, we call it Star Wars or kind of Star Trek type device where you could zoom through the universe at light speed? The journey from Earth to Venus would only take some 14-15 minutes. Straight overhead at sunset, as we move into April 2026, is the giant of the solar system, the planet Jupiter. Now moving away from us, now at least 450 million miles away, and that journey, if you could travel at the speed of light, would take some 38 minutes. So those two planets are primarily the best ones to see as we move into the month of April. But how about meteor showers? We haven't talked about that for quite some time. There happens to be a fairly decent meteor shower that will peak around the morning of the 20th and 21st of April. It's known as the annual Lyrid meteor shower. All debris from a distinct and ancient comet called Comet 1861 G1, simply known as Comet Thatcher. This particular object, the comet, moves around the sun in a long period of some 160 years. But for us, here's the tip. Start looking around midnight into the northeast sky, right around that time of year. By the way, the Lyrids can start as early as the 14th, but peaking on the mornings of the 21st into the 22nd. A guidepost is the bright star Vega. You can't miss it with the naked eye. That's pretty much all you'll need to know, because right there near Vega, the star that is 25 light years away, is the origin of where these so-called shooting stars. And remember, they're not stars at all, but debris from comets the size of tiny little grains of pebble, and smaller like the size of little dust grains. They're moving at incredible speeds, but boy, did they put on an amazing show. At that particular time, during the peak morning of the 22nd, a waxing crescent moon will have set long before your observation. So if you're a late night person, you want to start looking on the evening hours of the 21st when it strikes midnight into the 22nd. Clear sky, but on either side of those dates, you still may get to see some activity. But how about this? There's an interesting comet that's moving toward the sun. And we've talked about this here on the Dr. Sky Experience with our Sky Update. It happens to be a comet known as Comet 2026 A1. And the comet acronym is MAPS, M-A-P-S. Why do we mention that? Because this particular comet is known as a group of comets called Kreutz comets. And these are leftover material from a comet that passed the sun maybe around 350 BC. An amazing comet. And the debris of this comet, who knows, as it gets close to the sun by early April, that's next week, you may hear around the world in legacy and mainstream media an opportunity to see an incredible comet close to the sun. Now, obviously, take precautions and don't stare directly at the sun. My best guesstimate, Dr. Skies, for looking for this particular comet, Comet 2026 A1 MAPS, would be during the early evenings starting around April the 2nd. After the sun has set, carefully look with the naked eye, and then with a pair of binoculars scan along that area, which is just to the lower left of the planet Venus. And if indeed this comet does brighten up, we may get to see a rather spectacular tail moving into the evening sky. Fascinating information here, as you tell us on the Dr. Sky Experience. My email for questions and comments, I do answer them all, is just drsky@wabcradio.com. And thank you to the many fans who do listen and tell us they enjoy the Dr. Sky Experience. How to find us? Every Friday midnight into 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, that is into Saturday morning. The Dr. Sky Experience is here on WABC for 2 hours, and then Saturday evening, midnight to 2 a.m. Sunday, Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, you can give us a call with your questions and comments from the great guests that we get from the realms of astronomy, space, aviation, weather, celebrity guests, and stories of American exceptionalism at 1-800-848-9222, or simpler dialing numbers 1-800-848-WABC. How about that? Wishing you the best for the Easter and Passover season. as we move deeper into the time period just around the corner for summer, hopefully your skies are clear and you're full of good health and happiness. We'll see you on the air.
This is Roger Stone for American Sovereign Bullion. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost over 20% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to rise. Call 844-272-2428 or go to asbgold.com now to get your free gold and silver guide and learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver delivered to your door or held in a gold IRA today. So go to asbgold.com now. Don't wait for the markets to drop. That's asbgold.com.